Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So today is Thursday, which means it is Update Thursday on Old School RuneScape, and we have an unexpected update today. There is a new quest in the game. So for all you guys who have Questscape and you want to keep using that teleport, you have to do the new quest, Tale of the Righteous, which we will explore in a little bit. But I first want to mention something really quickly. My last video apparently did not show up in many sub boxes. I found really cool places with the Orb of Oculus. If you guys haven't seen it, I will link it. It's going to be the first link in the description. And I've had this issue a lot recently with sub boxes, and I think many other content creators have as well. So if you want to make sure to always get all the notifications from people you follow on YouTube, if you go down below the video next to the subscribe button and you click the bell, you'll have three options. You'll have like an all notifications, sometimes notifications, and none notifications, something like that. If you guys always want to see my videos or other people's videos, make sure you guys have the all options selected so you can always be notified when we upload a video or anything else. Anyways, let's get right into today's update. The new quest, as I said before, is called Tale of the Righteous, and it's sort of one of those Zaya lore quests. They're just sort of adding random quests around Zaya to give the place a bit more lore. That was one of the main complaints when Zaya was actually first released, was that there's pretty much no quests on the continent, and quests sort of make an area. It gives it a lot of lore, gives it a lot of background information, so they're slowly coming out with these quests, and this next one, as I said, is the next one in line. This quest, I believe, is mainly about the Shazen area. King Shazen ordered an expedition to Mount Quedamortem. The expedition never returned, and it assumed they all perished in the field, but a recent discovery may suggest otherwise. So if you guys want to get that one done, you can start the quest by speaking to Phileas Rimor in his home north of the bank in the Shazen house. This quest requires Client of Karen to be completed, level 16 strength, level 10 mining, and 20% Shazen favor. You get 1 quest point for finishing the quest, 8,000 coins, 10% Shazen favor, and a teleport page for Corette's memoirs that unlocks an additional 8 teleport charges and a new teleport to the Shazen house, which is very, very nice. More teleports around Zaya is something that it desperately needs, so this one is now an additional page in your Corette's memoirs, which was actually released in the quest that was released, I think, a couple months ago. There's those 2 separate quests that were released for the Piscarilius and Hasidius house, which gave you this book, which lets you teleport to those separate locations. So this is in the game if you guys want to get it done. It's a novice quest. I'm sure it won't take long at all, so might as well get it done. Speaking of Zaya or Karen or whatever you want to call it, we have a huge new update to the Karen favor rebalance. I mean, this is super huge, massive. Look at this. It's so much to read. So I'm not going to read all of this, but if you guys want to take a look at it for yourself, they've pretty much sort of rebalanced the way you gain favor on Zaya. For example, they've taken away Decline of Karen no longer gives double favor as a reward, which is actually sort of surprising. Instead, that is now given to all players by default, which is, again, a little bit weird, but I think that was voted in by the Quality of Life and Content poll, so not too surprised to see in the game, but there's lots of increased and decreased favor things here if you guys want to take a look at them, or pause your screen, I guess, right now. You can look through all of them, but the biggest ones I'm looking into are the Piscarilius and I'd say the Lovakenge, because those are the 2 most annoying ones in my opinion. The Piscarilius one is probably the worst, even though the mining on Lovakenge is pretty annoying, so I guess I'll go over those 2. The favor for the crane repair is increased from 4 to 5. The increased favor for break-ins from 16 to 20. And they increase the chance of gaining favor when delivering fish from 1/8 to 1/5, which increases the average favor per action from 0.125 to 0.2. So for Lovakenge, they actually decrease the amount of favor when mining sulfur, which is sort of interesting because that was the main one that people did when getting Lovakenge favor, seeing as it was, I guess, the most AFK in a sense, or is the easiest one. So yeah, they nerfed that one a little bit, I guess we can say. They decreased the favor for unlocking a new minecart from 80 to 50. They changed the favor for making dynamite to a guaranteed 1. Previously, it only gained favor sometimes. And then they increased the favor for handing on all the different tier armors. So from tier 1, 10 to 15, tier 2, 20 to 30, tier 3, 30 to 45, tier 4, 40 to 60, and then tier 5, 50 to 75. I'm guessing that they wanted to speed up the process a little bit with these 2. I'm not really sure if this one's speeds up the process that much. I'm guessing it does. I'm sure there's going to be some testing. I think I still actually have to do many of these on my hardcore Iron Man. So once I start playing that again, then I'll test those out and get back to you whenever I release that next video. But again, if you guys want to look more into this, I will leave a link to the news post below if you want to check it out. I just want to quickly say this. Do you guys remember how badly the system was broken when Zaya was first released? They originally had it so that when you got 100% favor in one house and you went to get favor in another house, you actually lost favor in the original house. You could only have like one house at 100% at a time, which was horribly broken. So yeah, thank God they changed that. For all you PKers out there, they are doing the world rota changes again today. So the current active rota starting today is period B, and this is going to happen for the next 2 weeks until Thursday, the 3rd of May. So the standard PvP world is going to be on world 325 in the UK. The high-risk PvP world is going to be World 337 in the US, and then the free-to-play PvP world will be in World 417 in the US as well. They intended to move it to Europe, but the world is not available at the moment, so it's staying on World 117 for now, and then the Bounty Hunter world is going to be on World 319, also in the US. We have 2 more quality of life updates today. The first one is that you only need 150 kudos now to enter the volcanic mine. I'm sure many of you guys watching have yet to even do the volcanic mine. It's not that popular, but for some people, they really enjoy it. So now for you guys who like doing it, it only requires 150 kudos, given that the player has built the museum camp and claimed the fossil rewards for doing so. The fishing cape and max cape now have a teleport to Otto's grotto added to them whilst in the inventory, worn, and on the player-owned house cape hanger, which is really nice. I'm jealous of that. I really need to get 99 fishing. Or max cape, same thing. The scroll to zoom desktop and pinch to zoom mobile feature is now enabled by default, saved on the player rather than the client cache. Anyone who previously had the setting disabled will need to toggle it off again. Some good news for you guys who got into the iOS mobile beta. They're actually extending the beta by an additional week, which is really, really awesome. And they say that the feedback we've received so far has been incredibly positive, and there's no technical reason for us to stop the beta today, so we're making the decision to extend it. It will definitely end next Thursday. This must happen due to a planned update. So that's exciting. Maybe they're really, really happy with the feedback and they want to test even more about it. So my hope is that this will, obviously lead to a release before summer. Guys, if they don't release mobile before summer, then I think that's a huge lost opportunity. So my hope is that before middle May, or maybe before May 30th, before June, we'll say before June. That's my hope, when the mobile will be released for all platforms. That's really what their goal should be, and I'm really hoping that it happens. So I will probably have one more video out this week testing out some more of the iOS mobile beta, so you guys can look forward to that. There is some other news this week as well, but nothing really crazy. The only thing I want to say is that the current demo mode season has ended, so if you guys didn't qualify, I'm sorry, but if you guys did qualify for the demo mode tournament, congratulations. So that's all for this week's update, but there was a post release yesterday that I sort of want to discuss on video because I think it'll be a nice discussion topic for the comment section of the video. I'm going to go back to the old school page and I'll just show you what it looks like. We'll just go to home, and then, so here's today's update. But yesterday on April 18th, there was a post released about a potential challenge mode in the Chambers of Xeric, or raids, whatever you want to call it. Raids have been out for quite some time now, and people have pretty much perfected the craft of doing efficient raids. I mean, there are teams that are doing consistent sub 15-minute raids, I believe, which is absolutely insane. Something I think the old school team didn't think would happen when they released raids, and I think that's why they're pretty keen on releasing raids too, because they want, PVMers to have a new challenge and not get bored of things like Inferno. Well, you can't really get bored of Inferno. I guess some people can, but also, raids in general. So they're adding a potential challenge mode to raids, which is something that I think I've seen, at least on my Twitter, I've seen stir up a bit of controversy. They're not really sure if people want this or not. They're saying that this is more of a content thing for streamers and video makers, not necessarily for the regular player, but it's something I think you guys should discuss in the comment section below, because I love seeing your opinions on this. So here's pretty much the general idea of this challenge mode. Currently, if you're doing it solo, if you're in a team of people, what you guys do is you go into the raid, you look at the layout of rooms, and if the layout is ideal for you to do the raid, to get it done, in a decent amount of time, then you do the raid, complete it. If there's a bad layout of rooms, then you exit the raid and reset the room. But what they want to do with challenge mode is that they're actually going to have an option to check here. You can see on this picture. And then once that selection is checked, there's going to be a set amount of rooms, and the layout's going to be the same for everybody who does this challenge mode. When you enter into this challenge mode raid, all the inhabitants are going to become stronger than their standard counterparts, so you have to be prepared for a challenge. It says that they will push the limits of your PVM skills and strategy. They're actually going to keep a leaderboard of people who complete these challenge mode raids, and this goes all the way from solo all the way up to teams of 50, so teams of 2 all the way up to 10, 11 to 15, etc., etc. You guys can see all of it right here. They're actually going to have a dedicated page showing all the people who have the fastest times in these different teams, or this solo player. They pretty much want teams to battle it out and solo players to battle it out to see who actually can complete these raids the fastest. And I think they want to do this to give people a new challenge, since raids are getting not necessarily boring, but a bit stagnant for some people who just, rush it for the rewards. They want to add a bit of a PVM challenge to it. So now we get to the rewards for completing this challenge mode. So alongside the leaderboard mentioned above, you also will be rewarded with standard loot that you normally receive. And while the loot is no different from a standard raid, the bosses are more difficult, so you actually will get more points from killing them. And now we have an interesting one. So in addition to getting all this stuff above, if you finish a challenge mode run within a set amount of time, you will also be granted the chance to obtain an unlock for the Omelette Pit, which can transmog into miniature versions of Tecton, Vespula, Vanguard, Mutadile, or Vasta and Asterio, which are the different bosses inside of raids. The unlock can be earned regardless of whether you have the omelet pet or not, though you'll need the actual pet before you can utilize the unlocks. And then here they have some pictures of, the muted isle pet and then the tecton pet. Again, these aren't necessarily new pets that they're adding to the game, so you don't have to go for all these different pets. This is just stuff you can do with the omelet pet. You can right click and turn it into one of these bosses. Think of the corp pet. You can right click, turn that into, the dark core, or you can turn it into the actual corp beast itself. So pet hunters, I guess, would have to go for this, right? Because they technically don't have every single pet in the game if they can't transmog into these different things. Also, transmog, I just like transform sounds so much better. So what do you guys think of this? Do you think the pet transmog idea is good? Again, I don't really see a problem with it. I love pets, so I really don't mind seeing them in the game. I think that the most controversial one is one of the poll questions on here that we're going to get to. We have 3 poll questions that come with this update. The first one is the actual challenge mode poll question itself. The second one is the whole omelet pet transmog question. And the third one is a bit more controversial because they are actually potentially adding a cosmetic cape that players can get if they completed, raid 100, raid 500, raid 1000, raid 1500, and raid 2000. The appearance of the cape, of course, differs depending on which tier of raid you have completed. So for most of you guys watching, you should probably care less about this cape. Good for the people who have done raids thousands of times. They deserve a cosmetic cape. But I've seen the argument from people who enjoy the completionist aspect of the game, doing the difficult things in the game that other people don't necessarily do. They sort of see this as unnecessary. I've seen the argument that if you do a raid once, it really isn't that much different than doing a raid 2,000 times. I mean, yes, the people who've done the raid 2,000 times obviously are going to have a higher skill level at doing the raid because they've done it so many times and they've seen more, I guess, room changes, I guess. But the difficulty level doesn't go up on raid 2000, There isn't exactly a level up system when it comes to raids. Raid 2000 isn't different than raid 1. It's just that you've grinded more of them than a regular player. I guess you could say the same thing about 99s on RuneScape. I mean, it really is just a grind, but you do unlock things at higher levels. With raids, you don't unlock anything once you've reached raid 100 or raid 200. The raids always stay the same. So again, this argument really doesn't mean much for the casual player, but for you guys who I guess enjoy the completionist aspect, or you sort of don't want to see this in the game, why do you and why don't you? Let me know in the comment section below. Anyways, guys, that's going to finish off today's video. Thank you again for watching. I do greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, and leave a comment as well. I'll see you guys Sunday for the next video, or maybe Saturday, one of the two, who knows. Thank you for watching. Hope you had a good one. See you next time. Peace. I think I messed my outro up.